What's up, everybody? Absolutely not planned to go live, but I am anyway, because why not? I'm getting ready for an extremely important project. Can I even see the chat here? Live chat. Okay. Let me open this on my computer as well while we wait for people to come up. Here we go. All right. Hello, everybody. So, I'm not sure about this light color there. Let's change it. Blue, better? Yeah, better. We like the blue better. Right there, so we can see Bella's single poster. Subliminal messages. How are you guys doing? So, I was not planning on going live, but here I am, because I am getting ready. Let's cover up. Chicago, representing Indonesia, Trinidad, everybody, hello. Portugal, awesome. Tennessee, Brooklyn, thank you so much. Well, I am dying about this project because I so want to tell everybody. I can't wait to tell. Fuck, I can't. But it's probably the biggest project, the biggest new project. Let's put it this way, that I have been involved in since the beginning of the channel, I think. And it's gonna take a minute, but when we are done, it's gonna be awesome. And by we, I mean a dream team. This is a dream team. I cannot even tell you who my partners are in this project because you will figure out what it is. But many of the people that I'm involved with is people that we all know, the people that you guys love too, and I'm very happy to start this project with them. It's not a new single, it's not a new band, it hasn't to do with mixing. All right? It's something that it will actually involve all of you guys. So I wish I could. I'm really using all my willpower not to say anything because I can't, because it's gonna be a big surprise and it's gonna be awesome. But anyway, to do that, to start this project, I'm really trying not to give away, but I have to do certain things here in my studio right now. I took this day off to do these things, and Australia, hello, and it was hard because I'm really like insanely busy right now, and I'm blessed to be in this busy. I have like, I don't even know how many mixes and master I'm waiting for, my hands to get on. We are working on 5 new Bella songs, and they're fucking awesome. And I posted a snip of one of them, not the third single, but one of them, on my IG, and you'll get a taste of what it's gonna be. Oceanside, California, representing. Hello. And so if you're curious, go watch. It's a little clip with some behind the scene images. Is on MixbusTv IG. So you get a taste, and let me know what you think. I'm curious. You will hear enough to get an idea. That's not the third single. That is one of the 5 new songs that we will release. We are working on the third single, on the third video, and again with an absolute dream team, and we can't wait to release. And at the same time that we will release the third single, we will also release every month a new song for her. So at the end of the 6 months period, 7 months period, we'll have basically the album, and it's gonna be awesome. And I'm also having a couple of guests for her songs that are like really cool names, so that's exciting. Tijuana representing Canada. I feel for you guys. Montreal, awesome. And so yeah, we're working on those songs. 1 is done, 3 to go, 4 to go. But yeah, a whole bunch of fucking mixes to do, mastering to do, videos to do. There's 2 cool videos coming up, really cool videos, and 2 more. Oh, whoa, I forgot. One of the videos will be released this week is a new contest. It's not a remix contest. This is gonna be a songwriting producer contest. So, and it's awesome. So I'm not gonna spoil the surprise, but it's a new collaboration that MixbusTv started with a big company in the pro audio world, one of the coolest company in the pro audio world. So it's gonna be super fun. Paris, love Paris. I had the best time when I was there with Alain Chart, the producer of McSolaar and also UVI plugins. It was awesome. Sweden, New York, awesome. Ventura, California. And yeah, anyway, it's Sunday, so there's probably not gonna be too many people today. It's easy going. I'm gonna stay probably up for about an hour, and then I really have to start doing this thing and start the machines because I need the machines to do what I have to do. Oh, I wish I could tell. Went and bought a Phoenix Audio preamp after watching your videos on preamp gear. Massive difference. I'm happy you're happy. Texas. I have to come to Texas. By the way, if you guys are in Mexico somewhere, me and Bella are probably gonna come to Tulum at some point. And if you want, there's always, while I'm here with this live, there's the super chat. So if you want to, your question to come up first, and you want to also support the channel, is much appreciated. Use the super chat. Jakarta, awesome. All over the world, guys, is awesome. That's why I kind of like to come up on Sunday, because it's not like, it's kind of an unusual day. Everybody strategize their live stream for when there's the most amount of people, which it's smart. I'm the dumb one, but I don't care. UK, awesome. I have many friends over there. I'm actually going to master soon another single for one of my favorite UK artists, Easy T. And Buenos Aires, awesome. What do you think about the Isotope Trash Saturator plugin? It's a great plugin. It's a little too tweaky for me. It's got too many parameters, too many options, and I kind of end up playing with the plugin instead of mixing when I use it. Brazil, yeah, UK too. Buenos Aires, I think I said that. All right, and yeah, so I'm here for a little bit. Ask questions if you want while I'm prepping what I have to prep. It's gonna be so cool when we are done with this project. Let me dig the email that I need with all the directions to do what I have to do. I got so much spam in my emails. All right. Do you route a send from a vocal into the vocal bus to bus? I'm not sure what you mean. Do you route a send from the vocal into the vocal bus? I have no idea what do you mean with that. What do you think about the Sono Claro? Did you make a review? No, I didn't make a review. For some reason, I don't know, I knew of it, but I never got to actually play with it. Like, look, guys, when I do reviews on plugins, it's because companies contact me. Either we have a collaboration or they sent me the plugin, they want my feedback, stuff like that. I really I don't want to sound like, but I really don't have time to just go, oh, there's a new plugin, let's try it, because I really don't. Like I'm barely making the time for the things that I have to do, and many times for the past 6 months, I had to like turn down jobs because I got too much stuff. Japan, awesome, awesome. Me and Bella, we are coming to Japan. Probably after the wedding. Maybe for the honeymoon, we don't know. But we are definitely coming. We are definitely coming. Absolutely. If you're watching this, share it. Share it. Thank you, Sean. What kind of plugin do you recommend for creating subtle space for acoustic guitars? Acoustic guitar is the main instrument, very stripped down, liquid sonic. Of course, it's going to be like an ambient reverb, and this is a little spoiler for what's coming this week, but I'm in absolute awe and in love with Eventide reverbs, and they're just a different thing. And there's one plugin in particular that is called the SP2016, I think. It's got faders on, and that's a different thing. And still from Eventide, the new T-Verb, which is this plugin that is in collaboration with Tony Visconti, the David Bowie trick with the gate and the mics. That is something else too. So that's what I would try right now. Perfect Room from Denise Audio, I think. There's another one that I would definitely try on acoustic guitars. What happened with your YouTube channel when it was shut down and suddenly back online? It was hacked. It was hacked. Is well documented. It was hacked. It was hacked. All the emails, all the accounts, the YouTube channel, the Google ad account, everything, and it was an absolute nightmare. But yeah, that's what happened. And I got it back just because I had like people inside. Otherwise, it would be a nightmare for anyone. If something like that happened to someone and they don't have like an inside person, it's very hard to get back. What's your new tool that gets you excited? No, it's not a new tool, actually. It's something that I'm doing with other people. It's a big project. I have a new tool coming that is getting me excited, but it's gonna take a minute before it gets here because it's hand built. And that's gonna be pretty awesome. That's why the rack on my left here, the new rack that is empty. Some people say, "Oh my God, you have an empty rack." Well, it's because I'm waiting something massive. Can't wait for another Instagram mastering preset. I'm at your mercy. Like you guys sent me stuff, and we'll we'll purge it. It's fun. But yeah, when you're layering reinforcing samples with drums, do you line up the transients, or do you delay cut one off so they don't get in way of each other? No, of course you don't cut. If I reinforce a drum with samples, I will definitely make sure that they play well together. Some people make the mistake of picking the samples because they like the sample, but it doesn't matter how the sample sounds by itself. You want it to sound, first of all, well in the mix, and to do that, it must sound well with the existing drum, unless you are replacing completely with which I'm not a fan at all. I got a Louis 1040 today. I haven't plugged in yet, just looking at it and touching myself. Okay, well, that's too much information, by the way. Oh wow, we have a donation. Thank you so much, Noir Blanc B. Happy to see you live. Thank you so much. Just wanted to say your last reaction video was hilarious. Keep posting the videos. Thank you so much. I'm having fun making them, and like I said, I'm only reporting when my gang send me. So you guys, when you find this stuff, because I don't really have time to like actively looking for them. A few pops out in my feed, but it's basically a teamwork. You had to find them and send them to me, and will correct them, because we're not just making fun, you know. I'm trying to like actually give the right information when we find that. Louis 1040, I didn't try that mic, but I'm pretty sure it's a good mic. Louis tend to make microphones that are a little too detailed for my taste and a little too bright for my taste, but that's just me. Everyone makes a copy of compressor, but what plugin company do you think is the best? Oh, well, there's many. I mean, Softtube is an amazing company. They make great plugins. Waves, for whatever people say, they have been a standard and they make some of the best plugins out there. Pulsar Modular with the P42 Climax, the saturator, they proven to be a heavyweight with their entrance in the market with that plugin. So if they would make a compressor, that would be a force to reckon with. So yeah, there are many that I like. I also like, you know me guys. I also like smaller companies like Audiority. They make great plugins as well. And you know, and about Audiority, I don't even know if I can say this. I'm not gonna say anything because I want to ask Luca before, you know, saying anything. But they are having a problem with the new version of their plugin, which is, oh my god. The reason why they're having a problem, there's nothing wrong with the plugin itself. The plugin itself is perfect. But they have a problem that I'm going to ask Luca if I can talk about this, because it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that a plugin company is forced to do what they're doing, what they're forced to do right now for the reasons that they are forced to do it. I know I'm kind of cryptic because I don't want to put them in a you know, bad spot. So before talking about what is going on, I'm gonna ask Luca. If he gives me the go, I'm actually gonna make a video because it's fucking ridiculous what is happening. Audiority, they make great plugins, they price their stuff like so well, and they're having a problem right now that is like unbelievable. But it's also very 2022 and the society we live in, which is I like less and less every day, unfortunately. After proper gain staging like you've recommended, do you find that you need to adjust fader several times to compensate for processing, compression, saturation? So first of all, I always say always compensate before and after processing, right? You have to, whatever you use, saturation, compression, EQ, everything, always compensate. They have to be at the same level, otherwise you're fooling yourself with level. I personally don't use faders, which is weird, but I call the way I mix the zero fader technique, meaning I only leave faders. All my faders are 90% of them. They are all at unity gain, and then I use them basically only for automation. So to compensate for processing, I always use the output of the actual plugin, not the faders. The faders, for me, most of them are zero, they are unity, and then I use them only for automation. I have a mixing course for members only in which I kind of explain this in detail. Again, guys, if you want your question to pop up first, use the super chat. It's much appreciated too. What about using vinyl player as a reference track just for ears? I'm confused about your question, Fari. You mean just literally using a vinyl player to listen to your music? I mean, it's a player. It's not really that hi-fi. I don't see why you would do that. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I don't know why you would do that, especially if you're not going to print your stuff in vinyl, or you're not working, mixing a lot of projects that end up being in vinyl. If you want to do it for fun, sure, I don't think there's anything wrong, as long as you always listen to that vinyl player, you know what I mean? Otherwise you don't have a reference. What can I use distortion to my mix? How can I use distortion to my mix? And can it be used on the whole mix or just certain range? Yeah, of course you can use saturation on your mix. Like half of my outboard gear is saturation. fuck. 542s, the Neves, the Fusion has the drive. Sometimes I plug in on my mix the Empress with the tube boost, which is, you know, saturation. The output of many of my machines, namely the Symphony is the only one without an output. But the Heritage has the 1073 output. That's some kind of saturation. Sometimes I use the fat, so that's saturation. My mastering compressors got two types of saturation: has transformers, and the iron and THD. So yeah, you can. Of course, you're not using a rat pedal on your mix, but and you can do both. You can use on the a full band, wide band, or you can use multiband. I'm not a fan of multiband on the tubas in general, although I am kind of looking at the TubeTech multiband compressor. I have reasons to do that. All right. Way too many questions already. Where are we? Can't wait for Bella's new single. Will be there a remix contest again? Yes, there will be another remix contest for Bella's single. By the way, before I get the answer, the questions, the remix contest winners will be announced in about a month from now, because first of all, I'm swamped with, you know, projects right now, and it takes a minute to listen to all 300 plus remixes, pair the winners with the prices, and of course filming the video of the announcement and all. So please be patient. But yeah, there's gonna be another remix contest for the third single, Bella, and actually we are gonna release two official remix albums for Bella stuff. They're gonna be on Spotify. They're gonna be everywhere. Malaysia, hello. Oh wow, I'm behind already. Let's see if I can catch up. There's no way I can catch up. Is there any non-UAD plugin that you tried that sounds analog that you recommend? All the Softube ones. Again, P42 Climax from Pulsar Modular, it's very analog. MJUC from Klangel. There's a ton. Look, I usually review the plugins that I like, you know, and if I review a plugin that is an emulation, it means that I like it. Does it mean this sounds like analog? No, it doesn't. I mean, most of them don't. But we're getting closer with the P42 Climax. We're getting close, and regardless of if sounds the same or not, it sounds good, you know. Do you have any experience with using addicted drums? As you're an engineer, I would like to know if I, as a producer, can depend on those sounds being mixed to sound professional rather than using one shots. Yes, you can, absolutely. I actually have addicted drums. I have several bundles. I made a video or two, and they're absolutely great sounds. You can definitely, you know, trust them. I love your videos. Thank you for making them. Thank you. I'm mixing an apartment with headphones, Bayer Dynamic DT990, and I want to get monitors when I move. Do you recommend room treatment before I purchase monitor or after to make necessary adjustments? Well, you're gonna have, if you're going to treat your room, you're gonna have to treat your room, right? So might as well have the monitors that you're gonna use to mix in the room first, you know. It makes sense. So you put the monitor in, and then you start measuring, and you start the basic treatment, and you go for there. Don't treat. I mean, you could treat the room blindly, just because there are a few things that you can do, regardless, like treating your corners with super chunks, the first pointer reflections and stuff like that. But generally speaking, you want to have your monitors there so you can, you know, measure. Let's see. Congratulations on Bella's single. Thank you again. How do you choose the type of reverb for any mix? Oh, that will take 5 hours to even scratch the surface. By now, at my level of experience, I just, you know, pick by feel. I know all my reverbs very well, and I know pretty much what kind of vibe and what kind of feel do I want, you know. But this is a long answer to that question. How do you gain stage and level cymbals? such a fine line between too much and not enough, especially when you think you have it just right. Then you're mastering into the limiter and it brings it up. Well, that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. Why the symbol of all things? Because they're stereo, but that goes for everything. That goes for everything that is on the sides. And you leave it to the mastering engineer to control them in case they come up too much. But I don't have any special trick for leveling symbols. You just experience will tell you where they have to be, and depending on the songs. Metal songs, they tend to have them like very low, while some other genres they have like a little higher, but there's no special trick for them. It's just experience. You fuck up enough times, you're gonna get it right eventually. What do you think of Undertone gear? It's amazing. You saw me. I worked a couple of times at Barefoot Studio, and their gear is awesome. It's not cheap, but there's a reason because it's not cheap. It's great. Sound Warrior, it's okay to mix on Bayer Dynamic DT77. How do your mix translate? I'm not an advocate of mixing in headphones, but at the end of the day, if your mix translates well and you're happy with it, just go with it. I expressed my feelings about mixing in headphones several times. Can it be done? Yeah. It is the best way to mix? No. But at the end of the day, if you find that your mixes sound the way you want and they translate everywhere, then you're good. Can't wait for Bella's new single. Where to be in contact? We read that. When do you think about pushing Transient on the master with a Transient Designer just before mastering, limiting, especially in techno or electronic mastering? This is kind of it's kind of a dog chasing its tail, if you think about it, right? Because usually the limiter is there to chop off the peaks so that you can, raise the overall level without clipping, right? If you boost the transient before hitting the limiter, instead of hitting 2 dB of gain reduction, now you have to hit 4, and that creates distortion. I don't think it's a smart decision, although there is something to say, as if you use saturation sometimes in some genres, let's say techno, for example, the saturation instead of the limiting could create a kind of distortion that it masks very well in the context of the mix, and it might help you with retaining a little bit of punch while squeezing the track. Although I said a billion times, excessive use of mastering limiters, it's not the way you get loudness. That is how newbies get loudness. And it sounds like it, but as a general rule, I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea, because you're basically fighting against yourself. Now, if a mix lacks of punch in the first place, then you can use a Transient Designer in mastering to give it a little more kick. But other than that, I don't see why. Short Sax donated. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. What is the purpose of headphones like DT77? I'm not even sure what model that is, but let me scroll up a little bit because there's a lot of questions. Where are we? Oh wow, I'm behind. Again, guys, if you want your question up, just use a super chat, because I'm trying to catch up, but it's not possible. Highly appreciated what you do. This would have cost me 100,000 in wasted college money and another 10,000 in gas without you. Believe it or not, I have so many people telling me the same thing, and it's true, because it's true. If you want to donate those 10K that I saved you on gas to to the channel, just go ahead. It'll be appreciated. Do you always mix using hardware? Do you use a Sami mixer? Would you say this takes your mix beyond what can be achieved purely in the box? Yeah, of course. I don't use a Sami mixer. I don't like Sami mixer. I don't need Sami mixer. I have 62 channels of analog, so why do I use a Sami mixer for? But I always mix using hardware? Yeah, of course. I mean, what do you think? I like to waste money and buy the gear for the lights? No, of course not. Of course it sounds better, and I'm faster. With it. It sounds better, and definitely that's why we have hardware. We don't like to waste money. We don't like to waste money buying gear. We don't like to waste money, in electric bill, but we do it for a reason, because it sounds better. Sometimes it happens that I could not use gear in mastering, like 3 times out of 10, just for an artistic choice. Okay, when do you use dual mono over stereo compression? Well, first of all, I'm a big fan of a dual mono everything, even 2-bus, because it helps you retain a wide stereo image. And when a mix is not, so sometimes you have a mix that is not perfectly symmetrical, let's put it this way, right? You have like some element on one side that has a lot of dynamics, or has a lot of more power than the other, or wildly different ranges, like frequency ranges and frequency content. That's when you want to use a dual mono compressor. You want to use a dual mono compressor instead of stereo, when you want to basically, you have a stereo element and you want to keep the independency between left and right, maybe background vocals or electric guitars, hard pan left and right, overhead on a drum, or maybe a synth that has modulation left and right. All those things that play with the left and right movement, I like to use dual mono, because you keep that bounce between left and right, right? If you use a stereo compressor, you kind of narrow the image and narrow the effect. So that's when I would use dual mono. I'm a big fan of dual mono. Distressor or 1073 for electronic music, drum and bass. I can't decide. You can't decide between a compressor and a preamp. What kind of comparison that is? The Distressor is a compressor. 1073 is a preamp. Why would you need a preamp for electronic music? I'm a drummer that regularly uses 14 channels to record using interface pre's. As I begin buying 500 series mic pre's and EQs in pairs, what are some types of workflow I should begin honing my skill? I mean, you want to become good at recording drums. Record drums every day. That's pretty much it. While you guys keep going with the question, I had to get Warhead, our cat, out of the room. Come on. Oh, alrighty. All right. We have another donation. Thank you so much to Shiko Tomizawa. Am I butchering your name? I'm so sorry. Thank you so much for the donation. And here's your question. Did you have to mix vocal recordings in the past that were poorly recorded? You have no idea how many times. If so, were you able to mix them well? Were you happy with the result? Well, let's put it this way. The client was happy, and with badly, poorly recorded vocals, let's put it this way. There's a lot that you can do to fix them. And the tricks is this high. The pile of tricks is this high. But at the end of the day, it's always going to be a compromise. It's never going to be as clear and pristine and beautiful as a well-recorded vocal, and yes, you can do a lot. You can make them a lot better. And sometimes, maybe you can get away with like a little more effects than you would to mask. And you have to kind of make those decisions. You have to make the decision, well, maybe for this mix, I would like to leave. I would like not to put too many effects on this vocal, but if I do, it's gonna sound bad because it was recorded bad. So you make another, you just go to a different route and you say, all right, you know, because there's not only one way to mix a song. Then you come up with something more on the creative side to kind of mask the fact that the vocal was recorded, you know, poorly. There's a lot you can do. You can't pair, you can't get at the same level as a vocal that was recorded properly, for sure. Thank you for the donation. Thank you for the question. Does sound always have a different timbre when mixing on headphones versus mixing on monitors in a different room? Yes, of course. The differences are so many. I think I made a video on that, on like the main differences between mixing in headphones and monitors, and why I'm not a fan of it. You know, namely how you hear effects, how you hear the stereo image, how you hear bass, because there's also, you know, the matter of physics. The driver of the headphones is right there, 1 inch away from your eardrum. Of course, it's not the same than monitors, and so yeah. Your videos took me to the next level. I'm happy about it. After few hours, I have to wake up and go to work, but this time is worth it. It's important. Thank you, Dave, for sharing the knowledge. Thank you for staying awake. Is AAX format better than VST format? No, if the plugin is coded properly, there would be no difference. There should be no difference. All right. What's your desert island hardware compressor? Probably the stressor. I'm looking to set up an analog vocal chain for home recording. What equipment should I look into for around $1,000? That's a little too little money, man. I won't lie to you. You're better off. Don't buy a vocal chain for $1,000. Buy something to start with, super cheap, so you save money. And then when you have enough money, you upgrade to something that is actually worth buying and keeping. Don't buy middle of the road shit, because you're gonna regret it. Because it ain't gonna sound that good. You wasted money. Even if you think you saved, you didn't. You wasted those money. And then you're gonna go try reselling that stuff. You're gonna lose 90% of the value because they don't retain value at all. Don't cheap out on analog gear. There's no reason to buy analog gear that is like kind of right now, because plugins are so good that there is no reason to. If you buy gear, make it worth it, you know. When level matching after saturation or compression, do you rely on meters or your ear? I rely on both. I check meters mostly to get an understanding of how much transient shaving I'm doing. That's the only reason, because I'm looking at meters. And then of course I match, you know, with ears. Because when I use analog, I don't have meters. I don't have output meters on my gear. So you have to learn how to use ears. Do you use RX to clean up badly recorded vocals? I tried some on loud female vocal with aggressive overtone, and it was alright. Quite time consuming though. RX saved my ass on badly recorded things, not by me, that I cannot even count. RX is amazing. RX get rid of like clicks, pops, noises, everything, and I don't think mix engineer understand, like many don't understand the power of that software. Is absolutely amazing. It saved me so many times, you know. And sometimes it happened to me too. Maybe I had like a glitch when I recorded something. It was like a digital click, just gone with no artifact whatsoever, like magic. It's RX, Isotope RX is amazing. Can you take your lizard out? I can try. See if it's in the mood. Come on, buddy. Come on. Here we go. Say hello. Say hello. This is Happy Face. So, for those of you guys who are not familiar, this is Cenobite. This is my dragon. All right. And yeah, you wanted me to take it out, so he's out. You can stay with us for now. Stay here. Stay here. Come on. You good? You good? All right. Hey David, do you by any chance have any opinion on how some people say find it easier to balance gains with an stance because of their sound signature? No, they find easier to balance things out on an stance because they've been using them for years and they know them. That's why. There's nothing magic about the stance, other than the fact that who have them, they probably use them for 2 or 3 decades. Where do I live? I watched you for years. I hope you're staying safe. I'm staying safe. I live in Los Angeles, California. Hi, David. Do you think clamp-on monitor stands for your desk are bad for monitoring? By the way, I got the eaves. That's why I'm asking. Trying to keep the room for the Mackies behind them. I'm not sure what you're talking about. The clamp-on monitor stands? Like, there are stands that they are attached to your desk, I guess, as long as they are. I mean, I don't think they're like that great for decoupling, and you must have small monitors because there's no clamp that would hold my monitors. But I think you're probably better off with stands than that, even though I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I know what you're talking about there. Jamaica, hello. David, what's your thoughts on white noise balance claim? It's bullshit. I think it's pink noise though. It's not white noise. I might be wrong. But are we mixing noise? No, we're not. And are we? Is the goal of a mix to have every single element being heard at the same level in a song? No. So why the fuck are you wasting your time doing that? You know, it's so silly to me. Those trends. I wonder if sometimes people just troll, or they kind of like come up with stupid shit like this because they want to sound like smart, you know? Would you go back to analog recording workflow? I mean, tracking via board and preamps record to 24 track tape. No. Tape? Fuck no. Sorry, but no. Editing tape? No. I have very little experience, and it was enough for an entire life. Sorry. Analog everything. I don't want to deal with tape, with real tape. Sorry. No. What's your must-have analog gift for mastering? Comp EQ wise. Did you see my rack? How could you ask me to pick one? I have one of the most ridiculous, you know, collection stuff. I'm the wrong guy to ask, but I guess if I had to pick 2 among all the things that I have, I won't. The NG mastering compressor and the SPL EQ for mastering exclusively. Sorry, it's cold outside here. I make techno music and I've been using Waves 1176 emulation for a while. Thinking of getting the Stam Audio 1, a pair of distressors. There's no way to test it in my country. What do you think? What do I think? Is that even a question? Between the Stam Audio and the distressor, you mean the most ubiquitous compressor in the history of recording studios? Get the distressor. This is not even a question. And I just said it a minute ago. Don't buy middle of the road stuff. Don't buy middle of the road stuff. You're gonna regret it. You're gonna try to sell it and it's gonna have no value. And after 2 months you realize that there's a reason why gear is expensive. And get the distressors. don't even don't even think, no. What do you do to reduce transient in kick and 808 in order to push the final mix louder for mastering? Well, you're assuming a lot here. You're assuming that I have to reduce transient in kick and 808 to push the final mix and louder for mastering, which I don't. It's everything. Well, not everything. A lot of it is in my loudness, is not in mastering video. It's all about crest factor. And what do I use? I use a whole array of things, which is EQ, which is saturation, which is some compression. But, I don't know. I think when you, this is gonna sound bad, but I don't care. When you are struggling with your transient and you're trying to chop them so much to get to your reference level, I'm sorry, you're not ready to master your own stuff. And that does not mean that you cannot sit and learn, but realize that when someone asks me something like, what do you use for that? If it was one thing or two, everybody would do it. And I literally had people booking consultations with me to talk about how loud and clear my masters are. So it's complicated. It's just not one thing. But yeah, look at my loudness is not in mastering video. There's a lot of information about this in that video. Dolby Atmos right now is a mess. I'm looking into it. Not yet. I will think about later. How old is he? You mean this guy? He's almost 2 years old. What do you have that running audio through it makes the audio warm and color? Well, basically all my gear. 90% of my units are colored. Blue Stripe, Distressor, Fatso, Empress tubes, all the heritage stuff is all colored. The Fusion is a color machine. The 542s are color machine. The API is colored. The master compressor is super colored. All my 500 gear is super colored other than the Elysia. I literally have a multiband saturator there. So everything is colored. All my gear is colored. I'm struggling with overthinking during producing all the time. I know it's not the question about sound, but have you ever experienced this? And if so, what helps to avoid it? That Kyle beats production is an amazing question. And I am kind of the best. I'm kind of the right person to ask and the worst. Because that is one of the reasons because I quit being a musician. Because my attention to detail and my tendency to wanting things perfect, because I'm a Virgo, it's a great character trait to have when you mix and master, but not when you compose. Because when you compose and you produce, you sit there and try all the possibilities that you can possibly think about, which takes hours, if not days, to just make one decision. And it's a grueling process. And when you are like this, unfortunately, from my experience, you're just wired this way. There's very little you can do other than forcing yourself on a time limit. Like, I'll be working on the sound for 20 minutes, and by the end of the 20 minutes, I will pick a sound no matter what. But it's hard, because unless you have someone forcing you, you have to have a lot of self-discipline, which is kind of counterproductive because you're producing for, a song, like your song that, so, you don't want to stop until you're absolutely certain that, you got it right and you got it perfect. So that's the only thing that I could think of. Try to give you a time frame for each task that you're doing. But when you're wired like that, it's a problem, because I was like that when I was, a musician. And right now I'm producing for Bella and a few other artists, I learned to kind of like minimize that problem, but I still have it. Toshiko, thank you again. Thanks for asking, answering earlier. I thought the same. Next one is, how do you mix all vocals that were recorded in different environments sound the same? I just had this problem with a member in a personal consultation, and by that I think you're asking the same song maybe, or the same songs of the different songs from the same projects, or maybe recorded in different rooms. That is a problem. That is a problem. Because some singers, most of them, actually, even if they record the same song with the same everything, same room, same mic, same pre, same setting, same everything, a different day, they sound different. And if you comp vocals, you know, and they're gonna have a different tone. And for the most part, is always noticeable. Always noticeable. What can you do to minimize this problem? Well, this is one of the very, very, very few occasions in which I will reach for a match EQ. Like iZotope has a match EQ, FabFilter has a match EQ, although I'm not a fan of how it works. But if anything, you have I'm not gonna use the matched curve, but it helps me understand better what are the differences, because that's a kind of a hard task to match two performances for the same song or the same project recorded in like different times, different places. So that would be my first tool. I reach for a please don't fall. I reach for a matching EQ, and at that point I try to understand how can I make the two takes similar by using just EQ. Then there's the problem of the ambience. Do the takes have the same ambience? Because if they are recorded in a very, very dry environment like a vocal booth, that's a lot easier if one of them has ambient and the other one doesn't. If that happens, you grab iZotope RX. You grab iZotope RX, and if they have two different ambience, then you run them both into the dialogue isolate. That's my favorite, which gets rid of the ambient. Watch it though, because for dialogue is fine. For music, you might have some artifacts. So there's only so much you can do to remove the ambient. And then at that point, there's the question of the proximity effect, which is taken care a little bit with the EQ, but you kind of can tell when a singer is further away or closer to the mic. And that, unfortunately, it boils down to sometimes using saturation on both to try to flatten the difference and make them sound kind of the same. But it's a lot of processing and it's a lot of work. And sometimes I even receive tracks that are recorded in the same place, the same day, the same everything, but different takes. And some singers cannot punch in. You know, when you have like a phrase with like 5 words and you punch in the last 2, sometimes they don't match because they are not consistent with the way they sing. And sometimes you have like to redo the entire take. I, as a producer, as a vocal producer, sometimes I had to ask, like, dude, you need to do the same. You need to do the entire take again, because you're not able to match your tone otherwise if you break it in half. So it's a lot of work. Thank you for the donation again. And we have another one, wooden doors. I think you might have missed my S-chat remic. I might, sorry if I missed it. There's a lot of people here. Please post the question. All right. And thank you for the donation. Wooden doors, please tell me what I missed, and we'll take care of it. When I compose, do you have any tips of professional mindset? am reading your questions. Do you use Vice DS1 MK3 when you're mastering your tracks that you mixed, or only to fix masters from client? Also, are there any application in the mix you would use this plugin for? Well, obviously, when I mix my masters, it's very, 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 very rare that I have to use a DS1 MK3. Few times, it's just a matter of some processes are better done on the two bus on the entire mix, other than go and touch everything, because sometimes it's just the nature of it. Sometimes a two bus processing, just like you use a two bus compressor, just like you use a two bus EQ, there are some occasions in which maybe the 6K range is better if you take care of it with a processor like DS1 in mastering than if you go and retouch the mix. That happens one time on 100. Okay, so it's absolutely an exception. Otherwise, I don't use that kind of tool to master the mixes that I've done. Hey, little guy, don't fall, okay? Your thoughts on cutting the master below 25 Hertz with linear phase and gentle slope? Engineers argue that those low frequencies still are detected and affected plugins, even though humans can't hear it. I spoke about this a lot of times, and I have a video about cutting lows on the sides coming this week. Why the you want to cut 25 and below? Because I've said this many times, you can't hear them, but you can feel them. You can't feel the vibration, can't you? And music is vibration. So unless you have an excess of energy in that range and below, then you have to cut it. But unless you don't and you're balanced, why you want to cut it? Just to cut it or to push your song more into limiting? That's stupid. That's absolutely stupid. And I have a video coming out on this specific subject, so I'll leave the full discussion for that. But the second part of your question, linear phase. Why linear phase? Linear phase, especially on the low end, it will introduce pre-ringing, which will snare your transient. And why? Because you're ready, you have to use a linear phase? No. Linear phase is for specific occasion and specific things, and mostly you want to use it on the high frequency range or high mids and not on the lows, because the smearing of the transient down there is going to be pretty audible. So no, don't cut. And unless, again, you're unbalanced and your mix has too much energy for that. But at that point, why you don't go back to the mix and cut whatever is causing the excess? Now, if you're mastering for clients, then of course you can't go back to the mix. But it's 25 and below. Yeah, you can't hear it, but you can feel it, can't you? When your song is going to play in a club with all the other songs, or whatever, or a festival, or in a big system, or in a car with subs. I'm trying to find the inspiration to produce another album, but I'm finding it difficult and depressing, the stuff happening on the news. What do you do to block out bad vibes? Unfortunately, I believe that while art, I think most of the best art comes from bad places, bad mindsets. Think about it. People are suffering for whatever reason. They're heartbroken. They are angry at the society. They've been betrayed. They're being, a friend stabbed them in the back. Like, a lot of good art comes from dark places. The problem is what is going on right now, and in this society, and especially in the past 2-3 years, it's not that kind of bad. It's the kind of bad that makes you want not to live in this world anymore and take a plane to Mars. And unfortunately, I would just lie to you if I knew how to, block out the bad vibes. Because I'm a kind of person that I embrace the bad things and I just face them and just try to use them, But I don't know how I'm doing it, and sometimes I fail at doing it. I'm not Superman. Sometimes I get overwhelmed by bad thoughts and stuff like it happened in the past in my life. And right now I'm living a very happy moment in my life, fortunately, but it wasn't always the case. So there were times in which I couldn't get out of the hole, and I don't think it's the best time to be creative unless you can channel that bad energy into something that it might come out a dark kind of project, but it's still beautiful, you know. But I feel like a lot of people right now, this kind of bad and this kind of dark, it's more like an endless pit, more than those bad feelings that somehow inspire you and make you react in an angry way, in a positive way, in a melancholic way, but make you react. This shit doesn't make you react. It makes you go like, I don't want to leave the house today. I don't want to do anything, because it makes you hopeless. And unfortunately, you know, I don't have the answer for that, you know, other than I would be such a hypocrite, you know, trying to give advice on this, because I hate to say it, because I have many friends in like such bad shape because of the economy, because of all the things, and I'm here, you know, with my happy relationship and doing the job that I love, that I feel I would be a hypocrite to trying to give advice on that, you know, especially when I know that when I was in a place like that, it was a bad period for me, and it was not a creative period, and it was, you know, I did study a lot. Maybe this is not the time to be creative. Maybe you can, you know, dig your head into something and study and you know, learn new skills or something like that. That's what I can think of. All right, let's see, what else do we have? How to make people listen more to your music and how to promote it. You will have to pay me to to tell you that. I have a 450 mic. What is good step up for vocal and instrument? The 450 is a good mic, first of all. I'm a fan of OC A1A. Everybody knows the Austrian Audio. That's the mic that I use for Bella, but it's an absolute workhorse. I love it on everything. And look into the Roosevelt microphones, which are absolutely great. And don't be fooled by the price point. They're absolutely great. And I would definitely look into Vanguard microphones for an upgrade, especially if you like tubes. That's good. They make great stuff. What do you think about using a preamp for color in mastering? Not just no, but hell no. And I'll leave it at that. Especially with all the machines that we have at our disposal to color and mastering. That's a it's definitely not what I would use. All right. I use the P42 Climax at the moment because your recommendation. I already know that I will buy it. Crazy how much you can drive it. Yeah, it's an amazing plugin. Spotify is ruining my music career. 85,000 streams for a handful of change. Let's talk streaming. Bella just passed 100,000 plus with her last single, and it's like what, $200 or something? You're not gonna make money out of the streaming. That's not how you make money today with the music. So me and Daniel Graves from Aesthetic Perfection, we did a full pod episode on my channel talking about Spotify. Spotify ain't different than what artists, as I was an artist back then, so I know firsthand, then it's not different than how much we were getting paid with CDs. It's exactly the same, if not more. You know, so the system ain't gonna change for now. So understand that, unfortunately, and I feel you, but you're not gonna make a living out of streaming. Not even big artists make a living out of streaming, because even if you have the big artist numbers, that will, in Los Angeles, that will pay barely your rent. You know, so that's not how you make money. It's not with the streaming that you make money. It's with the merchandise. It's with the concerts. It's with the support of the fans, and you need to spend time taking care of your fans. Look, Daniel Graves from Aesthetic Perfection, that we did a video together, he has some good pointers for artists to try to involve the fans and you know, and try to expand your business. You use the music to do other things, and the other things help you and make you able to keep doing music. What about the spacecraft versus Dr. MS? Worth to get the analog? Is that even a question? Do you think I like to waste my money? All right. Well, what else? I'm a rapper. What's budget analog vocal chain that I can have in my home studio to get the best quality vocals for me to send to my engineer? Ask your engineer. I'm not your engineer. No, I'm kidding. But I said it before. I would personally just buy the cheapest basic stuff, and then save some money, and then buy some real gear and real chain when you can. Don't budget $1,000 for like everything, and because it's gonna be crap, and you wasted $1,000. You know, get a good microphone for $100. Use the preamp interface, and when you have the money, like 2-3K or more, just buy a decent chain. You know, in the meantime, tell your engineer to fix whatever you send them. All right, all right. What are your thoughts on CTZ clip to zero method for mixing loud? I have no idea who CTZ is or what it is, but anything that says clip to zero method for mixing loud sounds like I want to be diplomatic and not saying sounds like a crock of shit. Sounds like a pretty, I don't know, I don't even know how to say this and not being an ass. I think you can do a lot better than that. Let's put it this way. Clip what? Clip your dot to zero? Someone should tell that there are like clippers and limiters and techniques, and that is I don't know, is I'm not gonna comment on that. I don't know. I'm not even sure if that's what I think it is, but whatever. Clipping your DAW, it's hard clipping, guys. Clipping your DAW is hard clipping. And it's not hard clipping fun. It's hard clipping. It's a destructive processing that the only reason because you get away with it is because you can mask the clipping on, for example, a metal mix or something that has a lot of distortion on it. Try to do it with a clean mix. Try to do it with an 808. Try to do it with acoustic piano. Tell me how the fucking how does it go? Wooden Doors, thank you for the donation. Thank you. What is best, 1073 Neve or Brett Averill? Neve 88 RLB, good. Ooh, okay. Thank you for the donation, first of all. So, 1073 Neve or I'm not a fan of the Pi. I'm not a fan of the Brett Averill. It has it has a kind of a different take on the Stand 73 sound. That's for me. The Neve 88 is good. Is a lot cleaner. It's like a lot cleaner than, you know, the 1073. So if you want a clean high headroom preamp, the Neve 88 is a great preamp. If you want a 1073 and if you want color and if you want a classic sound, I wouldn't go with a Brent Averill. I would go with a 1073. Now, which one is the question? And there are many out there. My choice would be the Heritage, to be honest. I have 3 units from Heritage, so I put my money where my mouth is, you know. And I would go for the 1073, the Heritage mix. So, Do you ever crank stereo wideners? If so, when? Yeah, sometimes with like a return of a delay, return of an effect, or I don't know, some ear candy guitars or synths, stuff like that. Yeah, it happens. You're one of the most knowledgeable master engineer I follow online. Where did you learn your craft? Thank you so much, Roger Starchild, first of all. Where did I learn? I learned from a long time ago, first of all. I learned in so many different places and so many different people. You know, I had the luck of working in, you know, in like how we used to do, like shadowing people that were better than me, and then talking with people that were better than me, and then you know, a lot of studying, and a lot of trial and error. And then I'm also in a very lucky position of having companies that work with me, so I can test everything that I want. And you know, I do consultations for companies, so they sometimes they literally pay me to try their units and then tell them like what could be better, what can be done, blah blah blah, how they are. So I'm a bit of an exception, but thank you so much. All right, it's 1 hour, guys. I'm gonna stay like another 20 minutes top. um did you try the UASD one yet? No, because it's not available yet. It's coming. I told my guys at Sweetwater to send one. As soon as it comes, we'll make a video. um Have you ever received a recording mix that was so bad you couldn't do anything with it? If you are a mix master engineer, should you be able to mix master anything? Well, I am pretty able to mix and master anything. Like, look at my discography. I literally work like in the same month. I can work on a reggae album and a death metal album, which I'm actually quoting like what actually happened like a few months ago, and pop, hip hop, and rock, and electronic and EDM and everything in between. But crap is crap. So you're not Jesus Christ. You can't do a miracle. So yeah, you're able to mix and master anything, but first of all, you should be smart enough not to know when to reject a job, because you don't want your name to be associated with something that is unmixable. And yes, you can make it better, but if at the end of the day that this product is going to sound like crap, it's still going to sound like crap. Doesn't matter how much worse you were sounding before. It's still your name on it. So that's the first thing. You should know very well when to say yes and no to a job. And second, again, mixing and mastering anything doesn't mean you're a miracle maker and you can turn crap into gold. That doesn't work like that. What are you using for summing? I don't use summing. I don't like summing. And I don't need summing because I have 60 channels of analog. What do I use summing for? I said it many times. Summing has been marketed as machines that solve a problem that doesn't exist, which is your summing in the DAW is faulty, is a bottleneck. It's not. The summing in your DAW is perfect. It's not a problem. So David, have you tried Skynote Disto? I was the first one to review it. Are you new? No, you're not, because you're a member. Of course I tried it. I did my first the first review of the Skynote Disto was on my channel. All right. Last questions, and then I gotta go. How to find ideal spot to play sub without moving it around everywhere? You have to move it around everywhere. You have to. Otherwise, you just, if you don't want to move it, you just place it whatever you want and you leave it there. Even if you measure, you're gonna have to move it. There's not a formula to place the sub. Even if you use formulas, you still have to deal with reality, which is, different. Do you have tinnitus, David, because of your ears working with audio and how you deal with it? I don't have tinnitus, fortunately, thank God. And like I said before, I've always taken care of my hearing since my days in the band with like very, very low volumes in practice. And, ear protection when it was needed, and I'm, it's has been paying because I don't have tinnitus, and I actually am very sensitive to high level. I duck when I hear something too loud. Are you wearing a cape? It's because you are a superhero. I love superhero. Yes, I am a superhero, and I'm not wearing a cape. I'm wearing my dragon, which again, more proof that I'm a superhero, because you can't touch me. I have a dragon, man. Have you heard of the new Stam analog spring reverb unit? I've heard it is great. I didn't, but I can believe it, because I have the 76 from Stam, and it's an absolutely fantastic unit. Best 1176 on the market. All right, last two questions. I'm looking to get a new bus EQ. I'm looking at the Heritage Synth or the SSL Violet EQ. Which one works better in that situation? I would say, well, they're very different, but the SSL EQs in general, think of this, they are for the most part channel EQs, because the SSL board were boards and not really master EQs. Even the stereo EQs, I see them more suited for groups and stuff like that than two bus. With that said, for example, on the Violet on my Fusion, I like the top end. 9 times out of 10, all my other EQs are better. I'm not a fan of the low end, so I would take the synth for sure, even because the synth has some of the absolute best filters out there. The synth EQ filters are worth the price of the synth alone. Believe me. I use them all every day. Last question. For controlling crest factor, like pads and other soft sounds, are you still clipping, or what you use for transparent? That's really, I don't understand the question, so I'm gonna ask the next one. How important is to buy a clock? Does it make a difference? Yeah, it does make a difference if you have multiple interfaces, like an extended system like mine. When I have like 3 multi-channel interfaces plus 2 mastering, converters, AD and DA. Otherwise, it doesn't. But with an external clock, I also include something like my 80 plus, which is a master clock, and send the master to everything. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference. It shouldn't be a priority, and it shouldn't be even a thought if you have one interface in your studio. All right, that makes no difference, and actually sometimes has been proven to be worse. Guys, thank you all for being here. Check the info box down below, and keep an eye on the channel. We have a lot of news coming up this week. And share, subscribe, go buy some merch. See you next time.